What's up, guys? I know I said I'd probably post after Christmas, but I couldn't wait, man. I have like a new idea for everything about this series, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, so we're gonna pretty much pick up where we left off, and that's pretty much the kids talking. But we're gonna go when they finally arrive. They finally arrive, and the teacher comes out and says, "Okay, please, everyone, count yourself off. Please, when I say your name, please say I, so I know everyone's here." He starts going off people's names. Midoriya, here. Bakugo, here. Kitsune, here. Stuff like that, And he said, "Okay, well, everyone's here, so I'll go sign us in, and yeah." So everyone followed him. Midoriya grabbed his stuff and started going. They got checked in, and Midoriya got told what his room was, and he heads in. Midoriya notices that it's a nice place, and yeah. Midoriya went in and put his stuff away, and that's when the whole class got a text saying, "Please meet at the springs. We're gonna go swimming for a little while." Midoriya says, "Oh, okay then." He just puts on shorts and just heads out. And he doesn't know why, but he thinks he should just bring his sword. So he takes it with him and just grabs his mask, because why not? And he heads out. And one of the employees says, Sir, please drop the weapon." He says, "Don't worry, I'm not going to use it. I'm just taking it. I'm probably going to go train or something soon." And the employee says, "Fine. But if we get an announcement saying that you have a sword and you're attacking people, we will be taking it away." He says, "Yes, sir, I understand." And Midoriya finally gets to his springs, and everyone notices Midoriya. And the girls start blushing a lot because Midoriya is ripped. Some of the guys are jealous, and some of them are shocked, and a lot of people are scared by Midoriya because he has a sword. And the teacher says, "Midoriya, why do you have a weapon?" And he says, "Sorry, teach, I just don't know, I just thought I should have brought it." He said, "Whatever, just leave it there, okay?" He says, "Yeah." And Midoriya just gets in the water and just chills. And some girls try to go up to him, but are too scared. And some guys just ignore him. To be honest, everyone's just kind of looking at Midoriya. But Bakugo doesn't care. He's just swimming around, enjoying his time. Midoriya is too. He just has his eyes closed, just chilling in this warm water. This feels nice, he says, and all of a sudden, Ketsu says, "We gotta go. It's time to go, Midoriya." He says, "Fine." He says, "Teach, can I go train if that's okay with my sword?" And he said, "Fine. Where would you be training?" And he says, "The forest." "The forest?" He says, "Fine. I want you back at," says, like, a time, and it's 5 hours. He says, "Okay, that's hopefully enough time." And Midoriya runs off. Midoriya was about to go to his room, and he says, and Ketsu says, "Here, I just got pants for you and some shoes. Change into this and let's go." He says, he just says, "Let's go." He says, Okay. And they finally get to the forest. Midoriya has his blade still. He says, "So, where are they?" And he says, "So, why are we here again?" He says, "They're here. They're watching us." And all of a sudden, this woman appears out of nowhere. It says, "Ketsu, you're back. It's so nice to see you. Why are you back, you traitor?" And he says, "My queen." He says, "Ma'am, please, I'm here for my artifact. You know what I want, my electricity stone." And she says, "Oh, you found a companion, I see. Well, let's do this. If you could beat my 3 warriors where you should have been." And he says, "Yes, I know." And Midoriya finally says something. Says, "Oi, lady, knock it off." And she says, "Oh, you have a feisty one, don't you?" And he says, "What did you say?" And Midoriya was about to pull his blade out, but all of a sudden, 3 people jump out of nowhere. This guy that has no weapon, this guy has one weapon and just is blue, and then there's a girl that has 2 blades. They instantly surround Midoriya. Midoriya has his blade out ready to fight just in case. Hold on. Has his blade out ready to fight just in case. Just imagine he's shirtless, okay? Because, yeah. She says, okay then. Like I said, if you could take out my 3 and take their stone, you can have your stone back. Deal? And Ketsu says, but wouldn't that mean, yes, you would have to kill them. And Ketsu says, no, just give me my stone. Midoriya says, deal. And Ketsu says, wait, but you said, don't worry, I got an idea. And he says, okay. So, who wants to go first? And that's when the guy that had no weapon says, what about me? And he says, okay, let's go then. And he says, fine, this is gonna burn, kid. And all of a sudden, little flames come out of nowhere. Pink flames. He says, interesting. Firestone? And he says, better than a firestone. Manipulation. All of a sudden, multiple little stars of fire start going at Midoriya. Midoriya grabbed his sword and starts slicing them in half, using the water combined with the sword. He says, not bad. And anyways, time for you to die. And he says, wait, what? How? Did you? All of a sudden, Midoriya is at his neck. Says, now shut it. Give me the stone or else. And the guy says, never. He says, well, that sucks. Midoriya slices his leg and says, what about now? No. Slices his arm. Now? No. And the other arm? No. Other leg? No. Says, I've just sliced you and cut you. I haven't cut off anything. Hurry up and just give it to me. And he says, never. And he says, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna knock you out. And he says, wait, what? All of a sudden, Midoriya punches him. And he says, so where is it? The queen is furious. She says, how dare you? Dare you insult him? And he says, wait, what? Well, Midoriya has a stone. And he says, so, Ketsu, what do I do for this? He says, well, if you could break it, do it. He says, oh, okay. Midoriya crushes it in his hand. And all of a sudden, Midoriya just stops. And she says, you, get him now. This guy tries to, and he says, yes, my queen. He pulls out his blade and tries to kill Midoriya. But all of a sudden, this blue flame, or this pink flame blocks it. He says, what? How? And Midoriya clears it and says, sorry about that. I just had to take that ability. Wow, surge power. Midoriya tries to slice at this guy, but this guy teleports back. He says, that was a close one. And he says, so, teleportation. Interesting. And he says, yeah, not it though. That's not all. All of a sudden, he puts one of his fingers down and there's 2 of them. And he says, whoa, you could duplicate yourself? 2 stones then, huh? And Midoriya is about to have fun. He says, okay, let's try these new abilities. Midoriya grabs his blade and covers it with water, while he also sends out numerous shurikens of fire at him. The guy one of them starts slicing while the other one's ready to fight Midoriya. Midoriya starts fighting the one that's trying to block, and the other one's saying, what? Because the other one's the real one. He says, wait, does he know that that's the fake? And Midoriya says, no, I know this is no, wait, you're not the fake? Oh, crap. Midoriya throws his blade while taking the clone down, making him disappear. And the blade hits the guy in the shoulder, stabbing him. He says, damn it. And Midoriya comes over and starts wiggling the blade slowly out of him. He says, just give the 2 stones or else. The guy says, no. And all of a sudden, Midoriya just rips out of him, the blade out of him. And he says, damn it. Midoriya says, I'll do the same to you then. And Midoriya knocks him out easily. Takes one of the stone, crushes it. He crushes the teleportation one. And says, I feel bad for this, but it's what happens. And then he grabs the shadow one, or the duplication one, crushes it. And now Midoriya could duplicate himself. And finally, it's just the girl. The girl doesn't look like she has any special abilities. He says, so, what's your ability? She doesn't speak. She just tries to slice at him. He says, can't really tell. And Midoriya just teleports away from her for a second, tries to think. And he asks his Tetsu. He asks his Kensu. Tetsu. Ketsu. Hold on. Ketsu. Yeah. He asks his Ketsu. Hey, Ketsu. What is her ability? Do you know? He says, it's been a while. I don't remember. I can't remember at all what her ability is. And all of a sudden, she just appeared behind him. He says, wait, what the? Midoriya gets slashed in his arm. He says, damn it. Midoriya teleports away. Again, says, why did she have like a sensing type thing? All of a sudden, she's behind him again. Slice after slice. Midoriya keeps teleporting, but keeps getting cut and cut over and over. Midoriya doesn't know what her ability is. And the queen is laughing her ass off, saying, oh, you will never find out because she'll just appear out of nowhere. And Midoriya's trying to think, teleportation? No, I would be able to hear it, I think. And I would be able to hear her crushing something. It can't be speed because I would hear the wind. Yeah, maybe it's some type of sense. Maybe a sense thing that could mess up my senses. No, that wouldn't be right because if that's so, I wouldn't be able to see. And then all of a sudden, Midoriya gets sliced again. Midoriya just goes into the moonlight and just waits. And he says, where are you? And Midoriya is still shirtless, so he is bleeding badly. And that's all of a sudden when she comes behind him and he says, wait, my shadow. And she says, and this girl doesn't make a sound, but she was ready for a block. But Midoriya didn't hit. When she stopped blocking, he saw that Midoriya just had her stone already. And she stops and says, please don't. He says, I'm sorry, but breaks it. And she says, no, I lost my powers now. And he says, no, you didn't. You're still able to use them. Just shadow walk, that's all it is. And she says, wait, but we were told that we couldn't use our powers if we didn't have our stones. And the queen says, no. How did you figure this out? No, sweetie. Listen to me, you still need your stone. You don't. You're powerless if you don't have one. And Dory says, don't lie to her. I mean, I could use fire, water, and I could sense earth without any stones. That's my regular abilities from Kitsune. Now you, give us the stone that he wants. And she says, never. And that's when she pulls out a blade from that was in her mouth, trying to slash Midoriya and throws it at him. Midoriya catches it and just says, that's enough. Throws the blade down and just instantly teleports to the queen, grabbing her neck, saying, give it or else. And Midoriya slams her to the ground. And the queen's having a hard time breathing. She says, stop. He says, give it. And Ketsu finally comes out of nowhere and hits Midoriya off of her, and he says, what are you doing, Ketsu? He says, don't. Queen, just give it, please. She says, fine. Traitor, and you're a traitor anyways. And from the middle of her necklace right here, pretty much, she grabs this stone and just gives it to Ketsu. Ketsu starts changing a little bit. The markings on his face turn a little bit more brighter. He says, well, Midoriya, we have the lightning ability. He says, okay. And Midoriya walks to the queen and helps her up and says, I'm sorry about this, but if you just gave it, they would have had their stones, and I would have just got ours. But since I'm nice, I duplicated their stones. He tosses the shadow girl, her shadow walk stone, and she says, "Wait, this is my stone. Wait, how did you?" Duplication. Made a duplication of his stone and his teleportation, and then I gave the fire guy his thing back. Those two won't wake up for a little bit, but make sure they're okay. And you, just stay away from me for God's sakes. And Midoriya starts walking off while bleeding, and this shadow girl just feels bad. She says, "Master," she says, "My queen, can I heal him?" And she says, "No, let him die. They're a traitor anyways. Grab the two and let's get out of here." And she says, "Yes, my queen." And yeah. And also, we won't hear about these guys ever again, so I could delete these now. I like the design of this one. That one's pretty cool. I love the fire ability that they added to that one. But yeah. And now we go back to Midoriya. Midoriya is just bleeding. It's just bleeding. And trying to get through. But he just can't. He's slowly dying. And Katsu can't do anything about it. He says, "Midoriya, just keep trying, man." And he says, "I know, Katsu. We're almost there. Don't worry." And they just keep going and going. They finally get back to the springs. And the teacher says, "Oh, there you are, Midoriya. It's been 5 minutes since I told Midoriya what happened to you." He says, "Oh, just training." And Midoriya collapses. The teacher grabs him and says, "Class, get a medical aid now." And they didn't know what was going on. And that's when Bakugo saw Midoriya. He says, "What the hell happened to you?" Bakugo instantly runs to go get someone. And everyone's shocked that Bakugo went. No one else. God damn it. Yeah. There we go. But yeah. And we go hours later. Midoriya wakes up and says, "Ah, that's a stinger." And the teacher's just there standing and saying, and just when he woke up, he says, "Midoriya, thank God. But you're in so much trouble." And he says, "Why is that?" And he says, "Simple. What? You're hurt. What happened?" He says, "Training, that's it, really." And he says, "What really happened?" Midoriya stopped trying to be funny and said, "Teach, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me, so I can't." He said, "Midoriya, tell me now." He says, "I'm warning you." Okay, so pretty much what happened. And Midoriya made up the most funny, weirdest story ever. He said, "So, pretty much, here's me training with my sword, just slashing the air. And all of a sudden, a bear comes out of nowhere and starts attacking me. I wasn't prepared, and I didn't kill it. I just scared it off." And the teacher somehow believed him. Says, "Okay then. And just enjoy the rest of the time here, okay? You only have 3 more days. You're out for 2. And he said, "Oh, okay then." And yeah. Hold on, let me change my... There we go. But yeah. And just for the past 3 days, Midoriya is just chill. He doesn't want to use anything. He's just hanging out. And when he finally gets home, he says, "Hey, Mom, how are you?" Right? And she just hits him on the head hella hard. He says, "Ow, what was that for, Mom?" She says, "What happened to you?" He says, "So, you can't just yell at me." And she says, "Really?" And Katsu knew what he was about to say, and he appears and says, "Midoriya, don't you dare." He says, "Well, the only reason I went on this trip was because of Katsu." And she looks at Katsu and says, "Really? Is that so?" And Katsu kind of whimpers and says, Kind of." you see, I needed an artifact so he could be stronger, and then the queen of my tribe, I guess, kind of attacked us, and Midoriya almost died, and that's when Inko says, you know what, you don't get food for a week, neither do you, Midoriya. You know what, do you even need food? And he says, no, not really. He says, well, and she says, okay then, no food for a week. He says, wait, but your food's so good. She said, well, you don't need it, so. And he says, that's so mean, Inko. And she looks at him and just says, bad dog. And he says, and he just whimpers and disappears. And she said, you on the other hand, Midoriya. You on the other hand, Izuku Midoriya. And he says, he just gulps and says, yes, Mom, you are grounded. Stay in your room because you are done with school now. And he says, wait, but don't I have one more week? And she says, no, they canceled it. So that was your last week. And he says, oh, okay. What about food? And she says, if you wanted food, you better somehow sneak in. Sneak to the kitchen to grab something, because I am not bringing you and I'm not cooking you food. And he said, okay. And yeah. And let's say a week later, Midori is finally ungrounded. And he says, oh, I need a train. I'm so rusty. So he walks out and just heads out to a beach to go train. Because he needs to train badly. Oh my god, I hate this commercial. It's so dumb. But yeah. And when Midoriya gets there, he says, well, let's try out some of these abilities. And he duplicates himself, right? Oh crap. It's okay. He duplicates himself. And he looks at himself. He says, wow, that's what I look like? Huh. Interesting. Pretty muscular. And he says, how do I command it? It's just standing. And Ketsu says, well, if you want to control it, you have to focus to control. It will follow your every movement if you control it too much, but if you want it to have its free mind and defend you, you'll have to concentrate enough. He says, okay, so I have to meditate now, huh? He says, yes, you will have to, Midoriya. He says, okay. Let's see, I tried the flame one. What about Shadow Walk, though? And he looks and says, that trash has some shadows. And he thinks about it and says, so, if I want to Shadow Walk, just need to concentrate, too. He thinks, and he just closes his eyes, and all of a sudden, he's there, and he says, hell yeah, that's hella cool, what the hell? And he just keeps Shadow Walking to other areas. And he says, damn, that's hella cool. Now, your ability, we haven't tried, huh? And that's when Ketsu says yes, but it's very dangerous. If we touch anything, we could send out an electricity blast. He says, is that so? And he says, okay, let's try it then. Midoriya puts his hand on the trash and just thinks hard, and just all of a sudden, it's gone. He says, wait, is that what you mean by it's dangerous? If you think hard enough, it'll just obliterate. That's why if we use it on regular people, we can't think that hard about using it. We must think about a little bit of it and then zap. We cannot kill if you want to be a hero, Midoriya. He said, and Midoriya is scared about this ability. He says, yeah, I'll only use it if we really need something badly. Huh. Okay then. He says, that's probably a good idea then. And they just train for hours and hours, using the new abilities and just practicing. And finally, Midoriya, after hours, is getting a hang of these abilities. But he just meditates for a few days now. like they said, Midoriya needs to meditate. So, Midoriya just sits in his room, meditates for days, just straight on days, day and night, just goes through it for about a week. And Inko didn't even disturb him, because he left a note saying, trying to meditate for a whole week, please don't disturb me or I might die, with a smiley face. And she didn't want to trust that since, and she trusted that since he almost got his ass killed. But yeah, hold on. But yeah, and Midoriya finally stops meditating and says, damn, I'm hungry, but I wonder if that worked. And he thinks to himself and finally goes downstairs and grabs something to eat and drink and just thinks to himself, but did that meditation help me? And Ketsu isn't talking right now, and he says, I wonder if Ketsu's in a deep sleep right now. Probably, I mean, we didn't talk to each other for a little bit, but he's probably okay. And yeah, and Midoriya took one step, and all of a sudden, he just shadow walked, and he said, wait, why did I just shadow walk without thinking? Wait, what happened? How? And Ketsu finally says something. Midoriya, we meditated way too much. Now if you take a step, you're just gonna teleport to a shadow. He says, wait, no, watch, I can control it. And Midoriya barely thinks, and when he takes a step, nothing happened. He said, told you, see? And he said, and Ketsu says, huh, okay. You wanna go back to the trash area so we could try the electricity blast? See if we can not kill anything instantly? And he says, yeah. And he runs quickly as hell. He runs pretty quick. And he finally gets there and went up to something and just touched it a little bit. Just touched it with his hand. And he just zapped it. And he says, yeah, we're good with that now. I could probably use it against the opponent, but it might be too much electricity still. But it's pretty good. I think we got it, right, Ketsu? Now we just gotta train for about 9 months. Then it's our entrance exam. And Ketsu says, yeah. And for months and months, they train, they meditate, they just do whatever to do. They just do whatever they can just to get powerful. And Midoriya has also tried out his orb ability numerous times with trying to combine elements, but it's hard for him to combine elements. And he tries the new fire ones, and he's even unlocked 2. He's unlocked 2 more. A shadow one, and pretty much that one just, if he hits someone, it just teleports them to him. And then the other one's just a duplication, so he could just duplicate it instantly when he throws it. So yeah. And how we go to the day before the entrance exam, Midoriya's just talking to Ketsu. God. But Midoriya's just talking to Ketsu, saying, so, if we do, tomorrow's the entrance exam. I don't know if we could use my sword, but if so, we're gonna have to use the abilities. You ready? And Ketsu says, of course, partner. Why wouldn't I? And yeah. I almost just coughed really loudly. And Midoriya just says, you know what, let's just go on a walk for now. There's nothing to do, to be honest. Mom's at work, and yeah. And he says, yeah, good idea. Midoriya just walks outside and just goes for a walk. He breathes in and just buys some snacks, and yeah. But he hears some screaming in an alleyway, and he instantly teleports to it. Not close, and just to the beginning of it. And he says, if I had my blade on me. And Ketsu says, I got you. He says, wait, what? And all of a sudden, Midoriya's blade is on him. And he says, oh, so you could deliver me my blade whenever I need it, huh? And he said, yep, I got you, partner. Says, good, because I think we're going to need it for this. Midoriya grabs his blade and walks towards them. And he sees two guys harassing this girl with bunny ears and this white tail. And Midoriya says, hey, oi, what are you doing? And these two guys look at him and says, oh, someone wants to play hero? Don't worry, man, I got this. And all of a sudden, this guy just changes his hand into a gun. And says, run away, boy. You never bring a knife to a gunfight. And Midoriya instantly just teleports to him, knocking him out. And that's when he says, it's not a sword, it's not a knife, it's a sword, dumbass. He looks at the other guy, and the other guy just looks at him and just says, shit. And the other guy uses his quirk, a little bomb quirk, I guess you could say. He pops one of his knuckles and just explodes Midoriya away. Well, and the guy grabs this girl and tries to run away, but the girl finally hits him, knocking him out easily. He goes up, and Midoriya goes up to the girl and saying, are you okay? But before he could say, the girl hits him hard, and she runs off, and he's, damn, that hurt a lot. And Midoriya wasn't wearing his mask, so the girl saw his face. And Midoriya says, you know what, let's just go home. There's no point. He says, yeah. And all of a sudden, Midoriya just disappears. But the girl saw this and says, wow. And she just runs home. In this universe, Mirko is younger. So, yeah. And that's where I'm going to end it. Hope you guys enjoy it, and see ya.